welcome to the fourth episode of A Year of Career, 52 practical answers to your questions. I'm Erin Wolfer, and I own and operate Career Advantage, which is a career consulting business. I help folks with their job search. I help them feel more prepared and confident throughout that entire process. And if you want more information about Career Advantage, you can always go to careeradvantageresumes.com. But here on this podcast today, we are going to answer a question from the public. And that question today is, what are tips that you have for a location-bound job search? So first, let's talk about the positive aspect of having a location-bound job search. I think the best thing about that is that your job search is really focused. So you can really spend your time and effort on that one location, and you can tap into those resources that are available to you, and you're not having to search anywhere and everywhere. That said, the downside to that is your opportunities are probably going to be limited, which means you're really going to have to tap into your network. So that's what we're going to talk a lot about today. So my first tip is to tap into the network that you already have. So think about who you know in the local area. You know, friends and family are the obvious people, of course, but you probably have current colleagues, supervisors, former colleagues and supervisors, people that you've met through other avenues, maybe church or organizational involvement or something like that. So just think of all the people that you know in the local area and reach out to them. Let them know what you're looking for. Let them know the skills that you have, the strengths that you have, and the qualifications. Let them know if you know of some specific opportunities that you are interested in or some specific organizations that you're interested in. You never know who's going to know something or have an idea of something that might be a good fit for you. Or if they don't know, maybe they know someone who does. So reach out to your network, let them know what you're looking for, and see if they can help you. And of course, with networking, as we always say, it's a two-way street. So, see how you can help them as well. I know that I probably wouldn't own and operate Career Advantage right now if it wasn't for me tapping into my network when I was looking for a new opportunity. So that certainly does help. And that's, again, how I came to own and operate Career Advantage. So my second tip then is to, of course, tap into the network you already have, but to grow your local network. So if you know that no matter what, when you look to change jobs, that you're going to be location bound, whether you're actively searching for a position or not, it's a good idea to start growing your local network. And there are a few ways that you can do that. One is to join local networking groups. You will be surprised, I think, of how many networking groups are available to you in the city or town where you live. I personally was shocked with how many were available to me here in Lawrence, Kansas, and I have really taken the opportunity to join as many as I can that my time allows. And not only join those local networks, but be active, be involved, go to the meetings, participate in their volunteer activities, participate in their events, anything that you can do. And even right now, in the times of COVID, so many of those networking groups are still operating fully. They're just operating online, and that's okay because you can still develop relationships and make connections through those local networking groups online. So local networking groups, those could be directly related to your industry. For example, if you are in human resources, you could join the Society for Human Resources Management. Or, you may know of those networking groups that are related to your industry, but there are some others out there that are open to anyone and everyone. So you might consider your local Toastmasters that could help with your communication skills and your presentation skills. A lot of cities have social media clubs that are free to join and available to anyone. A lot of them have just, general business clubs and organizations. So do a Google search and find what's available in your town or city and start joining, start getting involved. A lot of them you can join for no cost or a very low cost of under $100. So definitely look into your local networking groups and get involved with those. Second, look for volunteer opportunities. Think about what your passions are and what you would want to get involved in as far as volunteer where it goes, and sign up to volunteer. That's a great way to meet new people both in and outside of your industry. Um, right there, just by signing up to volunteer, you and those other people have something in common, right? You're all there for a reason. You're all likely passionate about the cause. And so that's a great way to grow your network. And then finally, I would say um, reach out to people who are in organizations or positions that you're interested in and find out if you can do an informational interview with them. People really love to talk about their jobs. So if you ask for 20 minutes of their time and do just that, ask about their job, how they got to where they are today, what they like about their job, what's challenging. So the point of an informational interview is to gather information. It's not to ask for a job, and it's really to establish relationships. So don't be afraid to pick up the phone, send an email, reach out on LinkedIn to folks in your local area and start conducting informational interviews on a regular basis so you can start learning more about the organizations that are in your town and the opportunities that might be available either now or in the future through those informational interviews. And then again, you started establishing relationships with people that you can reach back out to if and when there is an opportunity within their organization, in at the present or in the future. Third, I would say, is to utilize LinkedIn. So if you're not on LinkedIn, I highly recommend that you get on LinkedIn. Don't just get on LinkedIn. Make sure that you have a quality profile, that all the information is filled out, that you have some nice information that represents your skills, strengths, and accomplishments well so people can really learn about you. Make sure you have a nice professional picture, those sorts of things. So if you're not on LinkedIn, get on LinkedIn and create a full profile. If you're on LinkedIn, but you're not really utilizing it, or maybe you set up your account 8 years ago and haven't touched it since, make sure you get that updated before you really start using LinkedIn, because you don't want to start connecting with people and then not have a really great representation. That's not going to represent you well. So make sure you have a solid LinkedIn profile and then start connecting with folks in your local area through LinkedIn. Don't just send them an informal connection request. Make sure that it's personalized. Make sure you send them a message and let them know why you're interested in connecting with them. It might just be, hi, just wanted to introduce myself. I work at this organization. I'm really interested in what you're doing with you and your company, so I'd love to connect through LinkedIn. So make sure that you send a personalized message with any of those connection requests, because if you just send a generic connection without any information, it's likely they're not going to connect with you. And then once they do accept your connection, which hopefully they will, follow up and say thank you. And maybe eventually you could invite them to do an informational interview. Obviously, start engaging with their posts and their content on LinkedIn and start establishing that online relationship. So I definitely recommend that you utilize LinkedIn not only for growing your network, like we talked about in tip 2, but also I recommend that you utilize it to follow organizations that you're interested in. It's a great way to stay up to date on news, great way to learn about new job openings and things like that if you follow actual organizations on LinkedIn. And again, don't just follow the organizations and passively let them kind of go through your news feed, but engage with their posts, like them, comment on them appropriately, those sorts of things. So really utilize LinkedIn to your advantage to help you learn about opportunities and make those connections in that local area. Finally, of course, you can utilize job boards that are advertising positions that might be available in your local area. Job boards are, much more passive than utilizing your network, but I still think they can be helpful. You can learn about opportunities through job boards, and so find those job boards that do have opportunities that you might be interested in and start checking them regularly. And more importantly, if they have the capability of setting up an email alert so you can get emails anytime there are new positions available that either meet your search criteria or are available at organizations that you're interested in, then you'll get an email, once a day or once a week, depending upon how you've set up your parameters, to keep you updated on the opportunities that are available. And then once there are opportunities available, again, reach out to your network. Tell them, hey, I found this position at this organization. I see that that you know someone who works there. Is there any way that you could make a connection and make an introduction? And then you could contact that person and tell them that you're really interested in the position, and just let them know that you're going to apply. And so then at least there's that connection, right? So kind of come full circle here with that, it's, set up those job boards, but then go back to your network. So utilizing all of these tips hopefully will help you with a location-bound job search. Thank you so much for joining me today on the A Year of Career podcast, 52 answers to your questions. I'm Erin Wolfram, like I said at the introduction, and if you would ever want me to answer a question that you have on this podcast, you can email me at erin@careeradvantageresumes.com, and my business websites are careeradvantageresumes.com and careeradvantagegolf.com. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your day. Bye.